Anybody else? I want to make sure that I get everybody. Do you have a question, sir? Are you good? All right, go ahead.
Well, we came all the way from Holland, and we're following the U.S. elections very closely in Holland, and actually you're very famous in Holland, probably more famous than many of the other candidates.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it is true, it's true. And in part that goes back to some comments you made in 2012, where it made the headlines in Holland that you made statements that, that somehow we are massively euthanizing our elderly, that they're wearing bracelets that do not euthanize me. And those statements were wrong.
I read reports that that was the case.
Well, you're from Holland, again, like...
No, I'm telling you, I read reports that that was the case.
But do you regret then making these statements? Or?
Well, look, I'm not a fan of euthanasia, and the fact is that there is a lot of involuntary and, I mean, again, read lots of reports. The Dutch government does not do reports on euthanasia. At least the reports I'm saying, they don't track it anymore. They don't.
I mean, there's a lot of European institutions even controlling it. There were a lot of fact checks, and it's factually
no, I'm talking about
wrong.
Again, the reports I've read say that there was that, and again, I haven't looked at this. Didn't expect this, but I haven't looked at this in a couple of years. And I know when I made those statements, you know, there was articles written saying, you know, that's not factually correct. But when they went through the details of it, a lot of what I said, in fact, was correct, that the Dutch government doesn't track. It doesn't keep track of involuntary versus voluntary euthanasia. They don't. I mean,
because it's always voluntary. There's no such a thing as involuntary euthanasia.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who would contest that. That in fact, that there is a tremendous amount more people who are euthanized in the Netherlands than in a lot of other countries in the world, and that there isn't a good safeguard or tracking mechanism. It's one of those things that's just, again, the articles I read, sort of a dirty little secret. And some of the
bracelets, for example.
No, again, I've read articles that have suggested that there are a lot of organizations who are concerned about the extent of euthanasia in the Netherlands, who say that there are legitimate concerns for the extent to which it is used by the medical profession there. And I wish I was prepared for this, because I haven't read these articles in probably in 4 years, because it became a row when I said it, and there were a lot of articles written here in the U.S. That criticized me, and there were a whole response set, which maybe you didn't read, who didn't validate everything I said, but validated the gist of what I was saying. And so I haven't read those in 4 years, so I can't say that I'm that knowledgeable, and so I'd have to sort of do my homework on that before I.
But you said 50% of the euthanasia cases were involuntarily, and that was just not true.
Again, I had read reports that said that, and those reports were based on the fact that the Dutch government doesn't track it.
But do you regret the 50% comment?
Yeah, I did. I read it. I mean,
You do regret it.
Do I regret it?
Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't correct.
Again, what I know and what I recollect from that debate 4 years ago is what I said, which is the Dutch government doesn't track euthanasia, whether numbers or whether they're voluntary or involuntary, and that leads to a big question as to what actually is going on. So hopefully raising that issue caused some people to take a second look. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But I think, you know, if I were an activist in the Netherlands, I would want to know the state of what the medical profession is doing to people who are chronically ill, or people who are near or at end of life. I look at what's going on in Oregon right now, where they have the right to die, and one of the things that's very clear, there's been a dramatic reduction in hospice and palliative care. Because now the expectation is, if you're terminally ill or chronically ill, is to get rid of the problem, as opposed to death with a death with pain management, with palliative care. And in fact, there's less and less palliative care available in Oregon. I suspect, don't know, but I would suspect that would be the case in other places that have euthanasia. And I don't think that's a positive thing. I believe that people should die when they're meant to die, not when somebody says they should die.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a comment yesterday in the radio that you're considering maybe not moving on after next Tuesday. Is there anything to that?
Yeah, the USA Today appeared at a church in Des Moines